Welcome back to aboutmashiach.com. In this video or series of videos, we're looking at the conspiracy theory and how the different elements of the theory actually align with the coming of Mashiach. Only the theory is in an evil realm, whereas the coming of Mashiach is in a good and a holy way. But the concepts are actually aligned. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the financial aspects of the theory, the new world currency, and how that looks like before the coming of Mashiach and also after he comes. So let's have a look at the theory, the new world order claim from the financial perspective. So we've already seen previously that there's going to be a government, a global evil government that's going to be ruling over the world. And and in terms of finance, the plan is that the claim is that they are going, everybody, the people are going to be owning nothing and everything will be owned by the government. So whatever people did own, their assets will be either seized by the government or the savings that they had in the bank will be completely devalued because there's going to be a new currency that will supersede all the other currencies that we've been using so far. And that's called the new world currency. So that's nothing to worry about because the government will sustain us through what's called the universal basic income. So everybody will get that income and that's how they'll survive. However, there will be strings attached because payments will be based on what's called social scoring. So this is how the claim looks like. This is what the claim is. And now let's see how that aligns with the coming of Mashiach. So on the website aboutmashiach.com, we've covered a topic in great detail called Mashiach won't come until wallets will be empty of coins. That's one of the signs of Mashiach. When wallets will be empty of coins, that's when Mashiach comes. So we've seen that topic on different aspects of the sign, of how it has already happened and how it will happen. But now we're going to be looking at those topics and relating them to the conspiracy theory. So let's start with the electronic age. So with the electronic age, we've seen one of the fulfillments of this sign, and that is with transactions moving electronically, and possibly in the future, everything will be electronic. Then there's no more coins in people's pockets. Even now, people just use their card and there's no coins in the pocket. Now, that has an impact on charity, both a negative impact and also a positive impact. So we've explored that on the website. But there's another element of this electronic age, and that is transparency. Because what happens is that if people's finances are all online, in the bank, and then there's access, the government gets access to that, then there's a lot of transparency that the government has onto people's finances. And with that transparency also comes control, possibly control, and taking over people's accounts as well. So there's that element of the electronic age which aligns with the conspiracy theory. However, from a Mashiach perspective, we'll soon see that this shift in control actually aligns with how things will happen when Mashiach comes. But before we get into that, let's also cover the further aspect of the sign, and this is crypto. With the coming of cryptocurrencies into the world, we've seen another fulfillment of this sign, and how's that? So with crypto, there's no coins at all. So with electronic age, we still have coins here and there, but not much. With crypto, there's no coins at all. Further than that, it's a new level of currency. So with electronic age, it was the same currency, but it was online and not physical. With crypto, it's all online and there's no more coins at all. And it has the potential of superseding all the fiat currencies, whatever we're using, we have been using until now. So that these are three elements that actually align with the coming Mashiach, as we'll soon see. But before we do that, let's have a look at how the new world order looks at it. So they actually like this idea because they also want to supersede all the other currencies and have their currency, the new world currency, whatever it will be, and then they will have much more control over people's finances. So that aligns, again, another fulfillment of the sign that aligns with the conspiracy theory. However, from a Mashiach perspective, we've got all currencies will actually be superseded by spiritual currencies, like we've seen on the website. And this is something that we also see in the Rambam, in the codification of the Jewish law at the end of his work. At the very end, the Rambam says like this, and this is based on the Talmud and also on the idea of when Mashiach comes, we're going to go back into Gan Eden, how the world was created in the first place, and therefore we'll see that there's going to be an abundance of good in the world. All the delicacies, all people's pleasures, physical pleasures, will be found like dust. They'll be basically free because there'll be so much of it. When you have so much of something, it gets devalued and it's free, and you don't have to chase after it anymore because it's not so expensive and dear. So what is everybody going to be doing if there's so much abundance of materialism? The whole world will be busy, will be busy. Esek means busy, but also it means occupation as well. The occupation, the business of people will be dealing with is ladat et Hashem bilvad, knowing, acquiring knowledge of God. So that's what everybody will be busy with. It's spiritual stuff, and therefore all the physical stuff that people have been busy with until then, including doing business, currencies, etc., will be superseded. We also saw on the website that there's going to be a later stage where even spiritual currencies will be superseded, but that's something that you can read over there. So this is how crypto looked like. And now there's the last element that we wanted to cover in terms of the signs of no more coins in the wallet. And that's why Mashiach is coming. And this is a model of ownership versus subscription. So this is a commercial thing that we see in the world, that there's that when you acquire assets, you can either own them, buy them outright, or you can subscribe to a service. So there's pros and cons. The pros of ownership is that you get independence, you own the actual asset, but it's limited because you own it and it doesn't really change. Whereas with subscription, you depend on the service provider. However, you get the latest and greatest. You get upgrades all the time. As technology or as things evolve, you get the upgrades. With ownership, it fits with people with deep pockets because it takes a lot of money to buy something outright. So it fits with that. However, subscription, even if people don't, or businesses don't have the money to buy something outright, they subscribe to it, and therefore it's more manageable, and a cash flow model is more appropriate for that for subscription. So this is in terms of business, but in terms of creation, in terms of sustenance, this model of ownership is a false model, because even though it may look like people own themselves or own their sustenance, it's actually not the case. The case is really, it's more like a subscription where we get we are being created, and also we get our sustenance from above, from on high, and therefore the subscription model really suits the way that people are being created and being sustained. And therefore this model of ownership really belongs in the old world, the world of falsehood, Alma de Shikra, whereas the subscription model is more aligned with the new world, the world of truth, the world of Mashiach, the next world that Mashiach will be ushering in. And therefore, when it comes to transitioning out of the old world, and we see the signs of Mashiach all show us different elements of that transition, We have a sign of no more cash in the wallet because the world is transitioning from the model of ownership, even though physically people can still buy their assets. But as we see, there's a transition and there's more cash flow and more subscription. That's more people are actually using it in the world, but also generally speaking, this is where it's going, and therefore one of the signs is there's no more cash in the wallets and people are using cash flow for subscription. And therefore, when it comes to the New World Order, they also like this idea as well, because they want everybody to depend on them, in contrast with heaven. And therefore, they lack this model of subscription as well. So again, we see those elements are being introduced through the New World Order. However, this is how it's going to apply when Mashiach comes. Now, this type of model, we haven't even finished with it yet, because we actually saw it in the past in the desert. So it was called the manna, the bread from heaven that came down for the Jews who were sojourning in the desert for 40 years. That's how they were sustained. And let's have a look at the elements of that sustenance, because they really resemble the conspiracy theory. So you had a daily quota of bread, and also the bread couldn't be stored away as well. So this is what the verse says in Exodus, Omer lagulgolet. The way that it came down is each head got an omer, which is about 4 to 5 liters of that bread. Mispar nafshotechem, each person in each person's households in the tent, they got exactly how much each head needed. And also the next verse, ish al yoter mimenu ad boker, nobody was allowed to live to have leftovers so they can trade or can store away. So we see there's a great resemblance to the universal basic income that the conspiracy theory is talking about. Another similarity is in the way that it was collected and prepared, this heavenly bread. And that really resembles social scoring. And this is what the Talmud says in the Tractate of Yuma. So the Talmud comments on the different verses that describe this heavenly bread, because in one place it says, it came down, and another place it says, they had to go out, and another verse says, they had to travel and collect it. So the Talmud resolves all these different expressions. It says tzaddikim, with righteous people, people that score very highly on the realm of keeping God's law. Yarad al petach beitam, it came down by the doorstep, so they didn't have to go out and fetch it. Beinonim, people that are in the middle, like they're not righteous, but they're also not wicked. Yatzu velaktu, they had to go out and fetch it. And reshaim, the wicked people, they still got the man. However, they had to travel and go through more effort in order to collect the man. So this was in regards to how the collection. Also in regards to the preparation, we find different verses as well. So one verse describes this bread as lechem, as bread. Another verse describes it as ugot, which is dough. And another verse describes it as v'tachanu, they had to grind it. So again, different levels. Tzaddikim, with righteous people, they got the bread, they didn't have to work to make it edible. Beinonim, they got it as dough, they had to bake it. And Reshaim, they got it as tachanu baracham, they had to basically grind it and bake it from scratch. So again, more effort for them. So again, we see this resemblance of social scoring in regards to how that heavenly bread came on a daily basis for the Jewish people to sustain them. Now, this is not something that, even though it happened in the past, it's actually something that belongs in the future. So it was only a taste of it was in the past, but really the way that we're going to get our sustenance in the next world will be the same way that the Jewish people got their sustenance in the desert. And this is what the Midrash says, Mechilta, on the man in regards to a verse that again apply in the same parasha in Beshalach. It's when the man came down to the people, it came for a whole week, and then it stopped on Saturday, on Shabbat, and there was no man, and people were worried, and they came to Moses, to Moshe Rabbeinu, and they asked him what's going to happen, and he calmed them down and he told them, Hayom lo timtzeuhu basadeh, today you are not going to find it in the field. In other words, you're not going to find it in the field today, but tomorrow it comes back. On Saturday, it's not going to come because it's a holiday, and you're going to get twice on Friday. This is what he told them, and this is what happened. However, the Midrash looks at it in a deeper sense, and it says that the worry of the people was not so much that it's not going to come today. They knew it's going to come back tomorrow. They knew the Saturday is a holiday. However, the concern was about what's going to happen after they finished with the desert. It was actually not meant to be 40 years. It was meant to be much shorter. But even regardless whether it's 40 years or less, after that, what's going to happen after that? Are we going to go back to the bread from earth, the regular bread? Because the bread from heaven, they just tasted it a few days and it was super. It made them feel so connected with God. So they were worried what's going to happen after the desert. And this is what he told them. This is what Moses told them. Hayom lo timtzeu basadeh. Today refers to this world. In this world, Hayom is this world, and Machar, tomorrow, refers to the next world. Hayom lo timtzeu basadeh. Even the sadeh refers to this world, the field. Today, in this world, you're not going to find it in the field. It doesn't really belong in this world. However, tomorrow, the next day, you are going to find it. You're going to get it. So this is what the Midrash says. Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma Omer, Ba'olam hazeh atem motzim oto. In this world, you're not going to get it. Aval la'olam haba atem motzim oto. It comes back in the next world. So don't worry. This world is temporary. In the next world, this is when you're going to get this bread on an ongoing basis. So really, this model of sustenance belongs in the next world, like we've seen the difference between ownership and subscription. So this is the last bit of the sign of coins running out of pockets. And I just wanted to finish with a bit of psychology, because you find that people are generally, even though there's a whole spectrum, but if we can group people into two groups of people who are apprehensive about all these changes and people who are trusting. So with people who are apprehensive, their personal preference is not to lose control. They want to retain control, maybe because they have good finances in place. So when it comes to the claim of the government taking over their assets, they're actually not happy about that. And this is something that's, I guess, good, because the government is, the global evil government is evil. However, when it comes to Mashiach, they will need to lose control, because it's not going to be theirs. It's going to, like we saw, come from heaven on a daily basis, and therefore they need to get used to this idea of losing control. However, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got people that are trusting, and I guess you can call it sheep mentality, that, you know, we'll just go with the flow, and maybe because they've got bad finances anyway. But regardless, this is just one mentality, and therefore, when it comes to the government giving them free income, then they're all excited about that, and this is not necessarily something that's going to be good. However, when it comes to Mashiach, and people are behaving like sheep, then that's actually something that's very good, because Mashiach is also called a shepherd, and to be a sheep in the flock of Mashiach is something that's actually a good thing. So there's, I guess, pros and cons in both sides, and people need to get used to that idea of losing control on one hand and following the right leaders on the other hand. So this is a summary that I'm going to leave you with of this video, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you in the next video, which is about the last and scariest topic, which is depopulation. So hopefully we'll see you then.